let's move on to our third and final subject for this podcast, which is
talk conspiracy theories.
That's another podcast. That's a different podcast.
That's multiple podcasts.
Well, I'm going to throw a shout out to Trish.
Mm-hmm.
Trish is the young girl that works behind the counter at the gym that I go to, and I have quite in-depth chats with her about social stuff and life and bits and pieces, and she's actually such a sweet girl, and I really enjoy the moments that I have with her because they're short moments through the week, and usually after a hard workout or a kilometre swim in the pool or whatever, and so I asked her what is it that you'd like to understand more about men that hear on a podcast and stuff like that. And she said, when my boyfriend talks about his work in a way that I don't understand it, and it's really hard to understand what he's trying to talk about. And so then what I got from that was you want him to explain it in a very simple term that you can understand. And she's like, yes. And I was like, well, that's basically called mansplaining. And so mansplaining is the subject we're going to finish up on today. And it's a little bit lighter than our other two subjects. So, and the reason why, not only the shout out to Trish, but I thought it was a really good one to talk about because mansplaining has negative connotations. But when Trish said, I just really want my man to explain it in simple terms. And then I've asked a few other people, and then it's not what's said.
It's how it's said.
It's how it's said.
Oh, it's how it landed.
It could absolutely, because especially now mansplaining, a man can mansplain to another man. It's not just from a man to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, you could call it womansplaining if a woman was to do the same thing. But basically, mansplaining is a condescending way of describing something to somebody else, talking down to them. As if you should have known that, or I'm a higher class person than you because I know it and you don't.
It's more about frustration that you don't know. Oh, I've got to go through this again, Dale.
Playing footsies. I'm not moving. If you want to play footsies with me, I'm all good for it.
I was like, oh, sorry. Got nervous.
At least you're not kicking the cameras.
Is mansplaining not the form of, trying to explain something that I cannot believe you don't know, and I've gone through this multiple times. Why do I have to go through it again?
If
that what you get to?
yeah, it would be, because if your attitude at the time is, I've explained this, like if the first time you explained it, you put it in simple terms and you explained it and you did it without being condescending and you did it with just, the bare minimum of fuss. It's like, okay, this is how you do this, A, B, and C. And then 6 months later, I'm assuming your partner, you can't remember how she did that, and she asks you again. I think it's good that she's asking you because she cares and she wants your for you to turn around, I was like, oh, for Christ's sakes, I've told you how to do this a million times.
I think that's just being condescending.
That's exactly what mansplaining is.
Arrogant prick.
But
in my opinion, because
I think the assumption is that you should know.
Yeah,
you should know by now.
Yeah. Yeah, like how did you not? How is this lost on you?
Someone like me, then.
So you've got your phone there. You've looked something up, Anne.
Looked up what mansplaining is, right?
Yeah.
And on Dr. Google, it says, as a woman's about to open up about an experience, and she had, and a man interrupts her and informs her that he's faced worse. That's my idea of mansplaining. Not necessarily.
No, I wouldn't have thought that too.
That's what it's up there. But that's why
Dr. Google sucks.
That's the exact same. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. I think. I had the exact same thing as read up, but
you read the wrong passage.
But the one Red's about to say is off Wikipedia. What one do we believe more, Wikipedia or Google?
You know what? In life,
Google.
You read everything that you can, and then you make a judgment call on what you think is the best description. I can't remember.
But also, I don't feel like it's.
Look at him. He's going to have to mansplain to me now because I can't remember. Dude, we're out the valley until bloody 3 a.m. this morning. I can't remember. How many bottles of vodka did we...
Where was my invite to this? That's my question.
Why weren't you working?
Because I didn't want to work. When I was supposed to go do it tonight. Yeah, exactly.
I would assume that to be...
What Red's saying is that husband comes home, says, honey, I've got this amazing opportunity. I'm going to quit my job and then I'm going to do A, B, and C, and we're going to be better off for it. And what Red's saying is that on most times, the woman only hears, I'm going to quit my job, blah, 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 and thinks, no, I don't think that's mansplaining. I just think that's bad communication between men and women. But I don't think that's mansplaining.
I think, there's a communication lacking there.
Well, the way that I see it is if you go to Japan and you want something, if you go up to, you go to a bar, you go to a restaurant, and you want something, you want to really try. You want to learn a little bit of the Japanese and you want to learn the language and you want to try. And when they see you struggling and they speak English, of course they're going to help you, but at least if you're trying to speak in their language. So if I want something from a woman, I will try to speak in her language, which can be hard because it's, we think we're speaking English or whatever language we're speaking.
Yeah.
But the way that we hear words and the way that we understand words is different between men and women.
I think asking a friend or a partner, a male friend, to explain it differently because you don't understand it, I don't think that's a bad thing. But if they're coming up to you, dumbing it down for you, assuming that you don't know, then
dumbing it down.
Well, this is what it says here.
Yeah, go for it.
To explain something to a woman in a condescending way that assumes she has no knowledge about the topic.
And that's where it's
basically
the reason.
If you're assuming that I don't know,
but
that's rude.
So I think a lot of mansplaining would come when maybe a guy sees a woman trying to do something.
Oh, and they take over.
Like a woman is trying to open the petrol cap of her car and
don't assume
the man just comes over and just does it for her. Now, she probably knew, but she was just taking her time or whatever. And so, I mean, I guess mansplaining can also be an action.
Especially when he says,
speech.
You're right, sweetheart.
You're right.
I got this.
I'll do that for you, darling.
Yeah, and then expects, I don't know.
I'd want to punch her in the face. I'm an independent woman.
I've lived with a feminist for the last few years, and I've learnt from living with her to not just a chivalrous act would be to help her with something. I see she would come back to just cracking a jar of, jam, honey. She likes her honey, She would try 3, 4, 5 different ways of trying to, tea towel, this, that, whatever. She would rather do all of that and exhaust her means of opening that before coming to a man to say, oh, hey, Sarge, can you open this for me? And then for me to literally just turn around and just go like that and get back to it.
But she loosened it for you.
I
mean, that's always the comeback, right? It's the saying. It's like, oh, I did all the hard work. You just finished it off. Yeah, fair enough. If you've got that attitude towards that in that situation, awesome, because you can have a laugh about it. But the fact that my genuine want in life is to help people, and so when I see somebody struggling with something, I just want to go and help them.
Would you go so far to say you love people?
I didn't say that. No, I have a genuine interest in people.
Heart that wants to help people.
I have a heart. I don't believe my heart.
It's completely cold and black in there.
My heart pumps blood around my body. That's what my heart does, mate. And it skips a beat when I see you.
But he doesn't love me.
I don't love you.
He cares for me.
Not like you love me.
No, I tell Sarge I love him all the time.
That's it. Anyway, let's get back to mansplaining. So,
I think if you ask a woman, would you like some help? Nothing wrong with that. But if you just assume and take it off her and it's like, oh. No.
So I think
it's just being
asking.
Which is what it says. Basically, it says mansplaining is being a
condescending douchebag. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily 100% agree with, at least, like, asking is halfway, because I've been in situations when even asking, oh, would you like a hand with that, is too far.
Then the woman's just...
No. Wait until she offers for you to help her. It's hard because we live in a world now that's got this big wave of feminism happening where masculinity is being called toxic when there is no such thing.
Toxic masculinity.
No, there's not. There's no such thing. No, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There is masculinity and there is femininity and there is toxic people. And some of those people are men and some of those people are women. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There is masculinity and there is a big lack of masculinity in life. And we just need to get masculinity from good people, not toxic people.